Charlie Kirk destroys a mob of leftist students while he takes questions at a university. Guys, it's gonna be a good video. We have quite a bit of variety here today, so it's gonna be interesting. It'll keep us on our feet, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So we're gonna get right into it, but first, everybody, do me a huge favor here. Like our video and share it around so we can keep bringing you this great, hard-hitting content. As always, everybody, this is Resist the Mainstream, and I'm your host, Darian. Let's get into it.
I'm Julia. I'm also a first-time voter. I just have a simple yes or no question. If the only way to ban abortion forever would be to bring back slavery, would you do it?
No.
No?
No. I wouldn't bring back slavery to try to limit murder. No.
Okay.
But what kind of outrageous question is that, by the way?
I'm just curious. Just
No,
yes or no?
Can I ask you a question then?
Sure.
If the only way to limit human suffering is to ban abortion, would you ban abortion?
Say that again. Ask that again.
If the only way to limit human suffering is to ban abortion, would you ban abortion?
No.
It was an honest answer.
Okay.
It was an honest answer.
Yeah. That's it.
We probably disagree with you pretty deeply on that, but thank you.
When does life begin in your estimation?
I just wanted to ask a yes or no. That's it.
No, sure, but when does life begin?
That's all I wanted to ask was a yes or no. That's it.
Okay, I could tell you've thought deeply about this topic.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The worship of abortion we have in America is profoundly disgusting, and it's a really sad thing to say, and quite honestly, a moral stain in our society that we ought to be ashamed of. Seriously, aside from the obvious that over 500,000 Americans are killed every single year thanks to this heinous and barbaric act, it also damages many people who are living and end up alive at the end of it. Namely, the person who performs it, their soul is ultimately tainted, and it really harms the person who receives it. The woman, who very much is a victim herself, much like the child who tragically passes as a result of this act. It can be corrosive to a person. Over time, they end up deeply regretting it more often than not. And let me just put it this way. But furthermore, it's profoundly obvious that nobody ever regrets not getting an abortion later on. It just doesn't really happen. People have a child, they see how beautiful life is, and that becomes, the child essentially becomes their life in large part, and it's a beautiful thing. But for those who do decide to ultimately get an abortion, you see so much regret. It's really sad. And ultimately, many women can't even get pregnant later on, even if they decide they want to get pregnant. It's a really sad thing. Well, enough of that. Let's see what the next snowflake has to say.
Okay. Jeez Louise.
Try to talk right into the mic, please.
Alrighty. Hey Charlie, how's your tea, first of all?
My tea?
Yes.
It's good, thank you.
Alright. So, first of all, I'd like to ask why you're spending your time debating college students instead of people who have similar media training or experience to you. I mean...
It's already been asked. Are you a voter?
I am.
Yeah. We're talking to voters in the key state of Pennsylvania. Should we not do that?
I mean, I'm fine with you doing that. It just seems a little bit asymmetric.
We want to win the election, right? So, do a lot of conservatives come to this campus?
Not really.
Well, that's why we're here. Okay?
All right.
Yes. Disagreements, you can work your way up. Yes. Wow, look at all those disagreements.
Finally,
I know, it takes a while.
It's the same old stupid question every single time. Here's a question for me. Why don't they go and ask a college professor why they are endlessly shoving propaganda down the throats of college students on the daily? And unlike Charlie Kirk, those students don't have a choice of whether or not they want to engage with the professor. In fact, they often feel pressure to agree with the professor and exercise the same kind of thinking with their thoughts, how they speak, their assignments, etc., because if they don't, they think they're going to get marked down and ultimately, I don't know, not graduate, get good grades so they can get a good job after, whatever it may be. Unlike those professors, Kirk isn't forcing it on anybody. He's simply coming and engaging in open dialogue with, like he said, voters or future voters. Why would he not do that? Why is it such a crime to do that? None of it makes sense. What he's really trying to say is, hey, I don't like what you're saying, so why don't you just shut up and stop saying it? Because, you know, it's college students. It's not fair. Okay, yeah, right. All right, everybody. Here's something that I think is going to be kind of fun. You want to see a leftist who actually makes a good point? Of course we do, Darian. Well, I'm so glad you guys do. All right, let's check it out. This is going to be different, and I think we're going to enjoy it.
he wants to be heard. Just 1 second. We're going to give him a chance, or else we may be here.
I know. I feel like I have to say. I got to stay for at least. Yeah, I got you. I don't know if you guys can see my sign here.
It's fascinating. Right in Biden.
Yeah, it's a new movement. Me and my roommate have started really trying to take it off here. So like this? Okay, I see. But yeah, I think the Democratic Party turned their back on Joe Biden way too fast. It was like overnight. One night they were all supporting him. The next night I look at Twitter, bam, no longer voting for him. He lost the ticket overnight. I mean, nothing's more undemocratic than that.
I thought it was going to be a disagree.
Thank you.
But I agree.
I totally agree. And so I guess you're more liberal leaning, probably, maybe.
I'd say most of my ideals align with Joe Biden.
No, that's fine. And why do you think that Democrats, saying they're the party of democracy, were able just to remove a candidate? That should bother more people, right?
Well, I think it's not necessarily something with the Democratic Party. I think the Republicans would do it as well. I think it's just an issue of the two-party system. Honestly, that's my...
So, look, I mean, Charlie and I share this in common. We're not afraid to, and have not been afraid to criticize the Republican Party when necessary.
Right.
I just think in the political system right now, overall, in general, what do we have? You got a bunch of puppets who are wielded by the managerial class, including a mega donor class,
Sure.
that uses politicians as pawns. You see it in the Democratic Party, you see it in the Republican Party. We're in a unique moment in the history of the Republican Party. It wasn't this way for most of my life.
Right.
But we're in a unique moment where the person who happens to be the Republican nominee is independently a billionaire and is at least, you may disagree with his policies, but he's at least not somebody who's controlled by that machine. People may not like him for a lot of reasons, but what I think is one of the things we probably share in common, because I could tell from your sign, is, I said it before, I'll say it again. The people we elect to run the government should be the ones who actually run the government.
I fully
And
agree.
Joe Biden has not been given the freedom to do that. And I think if we agree on that much, call that an agreement
Sure.
rather than a disagreement.
I think the issue is, though, although Donald Trump is a billionaire by his own right, if you look at, FEC versus Citizens United, the Supreme Court case, Donald Trump's also getting an insane amount of money from private donors, 501cs.
Kamala Harris is actually getting far more. I mean,
I know.
Five
It's like
times
what?
more.
It's like 300 million to 200 million.
No,
I don't think it's 5 times more.
It's 5 times more. It's not even close.
I don't think that's true.
Either way, if you want to get mega money out of politics, I think you're going to find some allies here and thinking about ways to do that for the system.
You're
So
only
thank you.
just a kind of a wonky thing. It's more than what Open Secrets reports. However,
Okay.
I think this is an admirable crusade.
Thank you.
And we're going to publicize it on our social media
Of course.
channels.
That's
Kind of
lovely.
interesting to me.
Yeah, I think it's a unique movement. I just wish more people would consider Joe Biden for 2024. I think we turned our backs on him way too fast.
Okay.
I'd love
What's
to
your
see
name,
more-
man?
I'm Ryan.
Ryan, what's
Yeah,
your last name?
Ryan Farah.
Ryan Farrah's starting a movement. Let's see how he
Thank
does
you,
in the next
yeah.
50 days.
He's trying to change the world.
Thank you. It was lovely talking to you guys.
Thank you.
Well, what a breath of fresh air that was. I have to say, it's really nice to see a Democrat actually hold the Democrat Party to the standards of democracy that they always preach but don't actually hold up. I always like to say there's nothing democratic about the Democrat Party. I think that statement was more than proven for a few reasons. If you want to look at recent history, you can consider what they did to Bernie Sanders to screw him out of the nomination back in 2016. Giving Hillary all the superdelegates right off the bat. Lovely, lovely. And then now how they basically forced Joe Biden out. It's funny because, there was basically no primary when Joe Biden was there. There was one, but they refused to hold the debates. Then they said, actually, no, we don't like Biden. We're getting rid of him. We're going to put someone else in. What's democratic about any of this? Obviously nothing. With all that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. As always, please be sure to comment below. Let us know what you liked about the clip, what kind of stuff you'll see in the future, and we'll see everybody again soon. God bless.